There's not been a single woman who's accused me of a crime, not a single woman who's accused me of rape, not a single woman who's come out and said anything from my entire past of 36 years I've done anything wrong ever. Anybody else with my level of fame, any footballer, any other movie star, at least has people who've come out and accused them of rape, X, Y, Z. I have no woman who's come out and ever said I've hurt her, no woman who's come out and ever said I've done damage to her or been horrible to her. Everybody who ever's interacted with me has said I've been a nice person, all of them. So this random Twitter nobody who seems to know so much is full of...
All right, you've responded to her tweet.
Yeah.
Of course, this was a lie at the time of this interview in 2022, but now in 2025, boy oh boy does it age badly. And now yet another woman has accused Andrew Tate of a crime, said he did hurt her and rape her. This latest allegation against Andrew Tate comes from Canadian political influencer Lauren Southern. In her book that was released during the week, Lauren spoke of her experience with Tate at what she was told would be an investment meeting in Bucharest. Before we look at the version of events she described in her book, there's a few things I need to establish. Firstly, it's important to note that Lauren released the chapters detailing her time with the Tates in Bucharest for free in a separate Substack article. She says she decided to do this because she did not write them to profit off their contents, but because they are part of her story and they are true. The next thing I need to make clear is that I know for a fact that these allegations haven't just come up now out of the blue. I personally have known about them for a long time. I've spoken to people who told me a long time ago that they knew of them not long after the time of the alleged assaults in 2018. You've never heard me mention this because Lauren herself had not yet come forward. To be clear, I've never spoken with Lauren Southern about this or anything for that matter. Although Lauren has until now never in detail spoken about these allegations publicly, she has alluded to them, like in this podcast from May of 2022, many months before the Tates would be arrested for human trafficking and other crimes in December of that year.
Dude, I gotta be real, there is so much I haven't said. Like, I got heaps and piles of things I haven't said. I don't like drama, but there's so many of these people.
You gotta speak up.
This is the drama cast.
And maybe I should have talked about a lot of the stuff that I went through earlier, and I kind of regret that. But there's a lot of cult-like dynamics in the dissident right, like a lot of cult-like dynamics. I got lied about so much. Literally, not even because I said I was going to go after anyone. I was like, you know what? You guys keep doing your weird Epstein shit. And I'm going to leave, and I don't want anything to do with you people. I'm not even going to say anything. And they felt the need to destroy me because I knew too much. Dude, people are fucking human trafficking in the right wing. People are complicit in this shit.
Thank you.
There is so much going on behind the scenes that is sick and broken. And if they are terrified of people like me who know about it, they're terrified of me speaking up. And the only reason
Lauren,
I
should we
haven't
just
spoken
make a
up is
documentary,
because
you
they
and
have
me?
threatened my fucking family. So I have not spoken up, and I probably should.
The last thing I need to acknowledge at the start of this is that Andrew Tate's longtime friend Tommy Robinson plays a major role in this story. And again, I can now say I've been aware of this for a long time. I knew that Tommy was involved with Lauren meeting Tate, that he was aware of her allegations, that over the following years, he saw other women accuse Tate of identical assaults. And yet, Tommy Robinson didn't care. He continued to be friends with Tate, to defend him and lie about and attack his alleged victims. For some, this may add some extra context to my criticisms of Tommy Robinson's defense of Andrew Tate. Now that those things are out of the way, we will get into Lauren Southern's allegations against Andrew Tate as detailed in her new book, although I believe these allegations are likely true, given that I've spoken to sources who knew of them at the time, and they are identical to the methods of assault described by many of Tate's other alleged victims. The following story is Lauren Southern's version of events and has not yet been proven in the court of law. The story starts around February of 2018 when Tommy Robinson told Lauren Southern and 2 other members of his crew that he had been in contact with some wealthy crypto investors in Eastern Europe who may be interested in investing in a media project they were going to work on together. It sounded crazy, but with the right funding, maybe it could work. How could she say no? She says she'll never forget showing up at the airport with Tommy off his head, that he kept clenching his jaw, motor-mouthing between paranoid rants, and that he'd somehow smuggled an insane amount of cocaine through airport security. Lauren says that seeing Tommy slip into the bathrooms again and again to do lines of coke left her in a surreal state. This part of the story really shouldn't come as a surprise, because we have heard time and time again from people who have spent time in Tommy Robinson's circle about his severe cocaine abuse.
No, this is lies, yeah? You cannot trust anything that they're saying. When they put someone up on TV, no longer I could trust any of them. When there's someone sitting talking, I think, how much have you been paid? They pay the girls. And I guarantee you they've been in contact with every girl Andrew Tate's ever contacted. I guarantee you.
Yeah, no, they have.
Guarantee you.
He even said it.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
Like 50K.
When they landed in Romania, Lauren says Tommy told them the investors have sent cars and that they were going to love these blokes. They were greeted by 2 sharply dressed men leaning against polished sports cars. She says the cars looked comically out of place, but she wasn't about to complain. At least the investors clearly had money. Lauren says she rode from the airport in a car with Andrew, that he seemed nice, even charming, and she wasn't exactly disappointed to get a break from Tommy's antics and have a conversation with someone who was actually sober. After stopping for a meal, the group arrived at the compound that we know as the meat factory. Lauren remarks that from the outside it looks like a generic industrial warehouse, but when the black gate rolled up, it revealed what would have been obvious to her as a criminal operation if she had any clue how the world worked. As the meeting began, Lauren recalls recognizing that something seemed terribly wrong with Tommy. She was wondering if he'd somehow gotten more drugs since landing in Bucharest. What they hoped would be a productive investment meeting was nothing short of a disaster. She describes Tommy Robinson as a drugged out mess. Lauren describes the Tate's crypto bro, who she calls Donnie, give a sales pitch that was incomprehensible to her. Lauren's head was spinning as Tommy was chewing on nothing, and the other members of their team tried to look engaged. Donnie put his hands on the table, looked up, and said we'll call it Freedom Token, or some nonsense like that. She then realized that the Tates wanted them to sell cryptocurrency. She wondered if this was even an investment meeting at all. After the meeting, Lauren says that all of them except Tommy had resigned themselves to the fact that the whole thing was a bust. They did their best, but no one with even a fraction of their wits would give any of them access to real money, knowing it would all end up being snorted up Tommy's nose. After they went back to their hotel room feeling dejected and embarrassed, Lauren was told that the Tates wanted to meet with her, that they reached out saying she impressed them at the meeting, and the deal was still on if she was willing to meet with them and sort out the details. At this part of the story, Lauren tells the audience, if they're reading this and screaming, "No, Lauren," she gets it and understands now, but there's little you could have told a 22-year-old her to convince her that she didn't have a real shot at saving the day. Maybe she could have been the key to getting this media company off the ground. Imagine that. The Tate sent a car for her to take her back to the meat factory. Andrew called her over and asked for a picture, she says, barking it like an order. Andrew said, "This is boring, let's go somewhere more exciting." Lauren says she was naive but wasn't that much of an idiot. She asked again when they would discuss business and where they wanted to go. Andrew said to the club just around the block. They'd take cars. It'll be fun, they'll discuss business there. Lauren told Andrew she'd rather not go out unless Tommy and the boys were coming too. Andrew said he'd already texted them and they were sending a car now. Lauren's excuse was gone. When they arrived in the club, Lauren says she was painfully out of place. An obvious North American wearing jeans and a black top, surrounded by Romanian girls in club dresses. Andrew brought Lauren a drink, and she asked if there was any news on Tommy and the boys. Andrew said they'll be here soon, don't worry. A tray of shots arrived, and again Lauren asked where Tommy and the boys were. Andrew said the cars just arrived and they were on their way now. Lauren says she gave in and had a shot with the rest of the group. Despite having just the one drink and the shot, Lauren says she found herself feeling surprisingly intoxicated. Over a drink, Donnie the Crypto Bro explained their entire operation to Lauren. A series of pump and dump crypto schemes raking in millions. It was basically all illegal and something they couldn't pull off in the US. Donnie brags that they had the police there wrapped around their fingers. Lauren recalled Andrew saying almost the same thing back at the meat factory. And this checks out. Leaks from Andrew Tate's war room from around this time have revealed that Tate was engaging in these types of crypto scams around this period.
So yeah, the guy who owns this exchange is war room only, guys. The guy who owns this exchange is straight fucking gangster. So if you Google up, you'll notice that the Bulgarian government, they seized about, I think it's billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin from some criminal guys, and they did that because the guys were trying to sell the Bitcoin through an exchange, so they've made their own exchange now. So this is basically a mafia exchange. So all the mafia guys are just gonna be fucking around with all their money in here, because this exchange don't give a shit where the money comes from. It's all just shady underworld shit. But the BOA coin that they've launched, they're gonna pump hard. So get the coins free now because they're completely free. It's going to go up. So they've got some things going on. It's going to go up. I'll let you know when it's probably... They'll tell me when a good time to sell is.
Donnie said, and even if they do come after us, we'll just shut down shop, take the money and just run to another Eastern European shithole. Hell, I'm getting close to that point now. We'll just cash out and disappear. Lauren says at that point, any hope she had of the night bringing a legitimate investment opportunity had faded. She then says she found herself struggling to keep her eyes open. They hadn't been there long, she hadn't drunk much, but something was wrong. Her body wasn't listening to her. The world was dimming and she couldn't stop it. She continued to ask about Tommy and the others but kept getting vague answers. She passed out on a couch at the back of the club. Tommy and the boys never showed up. As far as she knows now, a car was never even sent for them. She says the memories after that blur together. She remembers someone carrying her to the bathroom and standing outside the stool while she threw up. Then Andrew was there again, lifting her up and carrying her through a dim hallway and into a sports car. So that chapter seems to insinuate that Lauren Southern believes that Andrew Tate drugged her. She doesn't explicitly say this, but most are taking it this way. Of course, I couldn't possibly prove if this happened, so am not making this allegation myself. I should note that at least one of Andrew's alleged victims in the UK also alleges that he drugged her. The next chapter of Lauren's book, which also is available in the free Substack article, is where things get a lot darker. Lauren talks in the book about being sexually assaulted by Andrew Tate without wanting to give a detailed account. She says he carried her into the hotel room and into bed. She remarks that she was incredibly intoxicated. He kissed her, she kissed him back briefly, and then told him she wanted to sleep. He wanted to go further, she said no very clearly multiple times, and tried to pull his hands off her. He put his arm around her neck and began strangling her unconscious. She tried to fight back. He repeatedly strangled her. Every time she regained enough consciousness to pull at his arms. She says she'd prefer not to share the rest, and that it's pretty obvious. This story from Lauren Southern, which again I have numerous sources saying that she told people close to her at the time many years ago, matches to a T what other women have been saying Andrew Tate did to them and reporting to the police for many years. These stories of Andrew Tate's alleged sexual assaults nearly always involve violent, unconsensual strangulation. Lauren says her frustrations grew over time as more evidence came to light about Tate's operations. When she met him, she had no idea. She described seeing Tate's many moronic self-snitching videos and criminal charges which include trafficking and abusing women and children come to light. Lauren says her last conversation with Andrew consisted of him telling her that she better not tell the press what he'd done. Lauren says after a few weeks, she finally cracked and texted him, saying what he did was wrong, and he needed to understand so he wouldn't treat others the same way. Today, as I'm recording this, the New York Times released an article about this, and they say they have seen these text exchanges between Lauren and Tate. Lauren says Andrew eventually apologized to her for making her think badly of him. She says the apology only came after a barrage of anger and veiled threats.
If they are terrified of people like me who know about it, they're terrified of me speaking up, and the only reason
Lauren,
I
should we
haven't
just
spoken
make a
up is
documentary,
because
you
they
and
have
me?
threatened my fucking family. So I have not spoken up, and I probably should.
She says she thanked him for the apology and cut off contact. Lauren says that she reluctantly reached out to UK authorities the next day, feeling it was the right thing to do, only to be met with indifference. They told her an investigation could only be pursued in Romania, a country where she had been warned about police corruption, and attempts to involve Canadian authorities met similar dead ends. She says eventually a larger US-based investigation reached out to her for assistance, and she provided what information she could off the record. A week after the incident, Lauren checked into a women's hospital and made a report. Again, this is 5 years before Vice News reported that Tate had allegedly strangled women in the UK. In today's story from the New York Times, they reveal that they have seen a copy of this 2018 report from a Toronto hospital where Lauren Southern received treatment. A nurse who examined Miss Southern notes in the form that she had reported being strangled and assaulted by a 30-year-old man in Romania on the 22nd of February of that year, according to a sexual assault assessment form that Lauren shared with the Times. She had requested counseling and sexual health tests. The report says that she had a physical examination and reported pain swallowing, red dots on her face and under her eyes, and other symptoms from strangulation. The idea that Lauren Southern has suddenly made this up now out of the blue for money or fame is officially conclusively debunked. It just did not happen. You have to be seriously lost or disturbed to think that it is impossible for Andrew Tate to have assaulted women. We now have so many testimonies from different women, from different time periods, from different countries, reporting the exact same methods of assault, violence, strangulation without consent to the point of unconsciousness, while raping their unconscious body. It's at this point in a story like this where a journalist might make a disclaimer that the alleged abuser denies any wrongdoing. However, Andrew Tate hasn't necessarily done this, saying he's glad she admits she's a drug addict, and that it might explain why she forgot all the texts she sent, begging to see him again. He also posted, "At this point, is there anyone he didn't rape?" Fucking ridiculous. So, as of the recording of this video, Andrew Tate hasn't denied these allegations against him, but said Lauren Southern is a drug addict, and begged to see him again, and complained about how many women have said he rapes them. An important part of this story is the response from Tommy Robinson and the involvement from degenerates like Paul Joseph Watson and Milo Yiannopoulos. Given the length of this video already, this is going to have to be a part 2. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the rest of this story or any more updates that follow. If you'd like to support the channel, you can join as a member, or you can make a donation or even just share the link to help myself and others in our defense against the frivolous lawsuit filed by the pathetic children Andrew and Tristan Tate. You can find this crowdfund at www.freespeechversustate.com.